Hi English students, this is Mrs. Peacock, and at this point we need to talk about the research paper, which is the second essay in English 101. Some of you may have done a research paper in high school, but it's good to always have a refresher. Also, some of you, this may be your very first research paper, so I definitely want to go over how to do a works cited page, intake citations, and finding outside sources. But first, we're going to go over the topic sheet. Of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. And don't forget that we have a fantastic writing center with tutors that can guide you through the research process step by step. So definitely take full advantage of our writing center and ask questions as needed, because the research paper is the most challenging of our papers. And so I just want you to know that you are supported through this paper. A research paper requires outside sources of information, so that could be books, articles, videos, interviews, etc., to fully argue a stance on a particular topic. Every source that is utilized must have both an in-text citation attached to the sentence that has the source information. So if the author was Bowden and it came from page 45, the in-text citation would be Bowden 45, and a citation on the works cited page. This research paper must include at least 2 outside sources. So at this point, I'm going to show you in your Seagull textbook, the example of a works cited page is on page 199. Notice they've listed their sources in alphabetical order, double spaced, and the title works cited is at the top. Also notice it's more than just website links. If you just copy and paste a website link, you will get counted off, because I need complete citations. If you're not sure how to cite a website, please just send me a quick email or work with a Writing Center tutor. I'm happy to help you cite, but just don't copy and paste the works cited link or a website link in there and think that it's a finished works cited citation. Notice there's also a good example of citations throughout here. You've got essentially any type of source you'll find, there's an example in your Seagull textbook. So definitely just flip through here. I'm also going to show you an example in-text citation. So for in-text citations, page 154 is really helpful. Notice you can put the author's name at the beginning of the sentence, like that first example with McCullough at the front and the page number at the end, which is page number 18. Or that second example has the author and page number at the end together, and McCullough 18's at the very end. Notice there's going to be some websites that don't have authors. Page 156 at the top has an example for if you don't know who the author is. There's going to be some really great websites you find, and they have interesting information that's reliable, but I promise you won't be able to find an author. So in that situation, you put the article title. In this example, it's Every Patient's Nightmare, but notice the article title is in quotation marks. But just like there's examples of every type of works cited citation, there's examples for every in-text citation as well. If you're not sure if you need to include an in-text citation, here's your test. If you read the sentence and you didn't know the information before you started researching, you need to include the in-text citation. So it's not just if you quote verbatim, word for word from the article or source. Even if you reword it or paraphrase it into your own words, you still need to include that in-text citation, because you're giving credit to not knowing the information. You give credit to the author who did know the information, or the source that provided that information. So if you're not quite sure if you need to include the in-text citation or a works cited citation, just simply ask me the question. I would much rather explain the situation to you than for you to accidentally plagiarize. Remember, plagiarism is whenever you have intellectual theft, essentially, if you use someone else's ideas as if they were your own. So if you're ever not quite sure if it's plagiarism, please just take the time to ask the question. But notice you need those in-text citations and the works cited as well. This rough draft is due Wednesday, February 7th by midnight in discussions. Just like you did for that descriptive narrative essay, you're going to do peer review on these as well. So you will submit that into the discussion board for your peers to review and give you feedback on what needs to be revised. Your final draft due date will be Wednesday, February 14th by midnight in the week 6 content folder, and that's the draft that I will grade. This paper is worth 30% of your final grade, so notice it is worth the most of all of the essays because it takes the most work. It is the most work intensive of your assignments. Your research paper should be at least 800 words in length. As a reference, your first essay was 500 words in length, but this does count your works cited page with those citations. That is within your word count. So definitely a little longer, but not anything that's extreme. It should just still be a few pages long. For formatting, it's still 12-point Times New Roman font, double spaced with MLA heading and style, but the difference in this paper and that first paper is that it must have a works cited page with your citations listed, just like I pointed out earlier. That page 190, I believe it's 198. Let's see. Yes, page 199 actually. This is a good example to use for your works cited page. And of course, you won't have as many citations because you only have to have 2 outside sources. If you do more sources, of course, I'm not going to count off on doing extra work, but your minimum is 2 outside sources. The final draft late submission rule is the same as the first paper. It's 10 points off every day late. So just make sure you turn in that final draft on the day that it's due on the 14th. All of your final drafts are going to be graded using that English 101 grading rubric that's on the Getting Started page of Blackboard, and they're also scanned with the anti-plagiarism software, and that goes for all your papers. Notice I didn't tell you what your topics are specifically for this research paper. It's essentially open topic. If you're not quite sure how to choose between a couple of topics, if you need to send me an email, definitely let me know if you're struggling figuring out what topic to write about. But I want you to choose a topic that you genuinely want to know more about. I've found that students, if they can choose their own ideas and their own information that they want to research, they're so much more invested in this assignment. And honestly, you're going to be able to find sources for almost any topic. So at this point, I'm going to give you some tips on how to find reliable outside sources using our library's databases. So if you go to wallace.edu, this is our regular page. So wallace.edu, then you go to Campus Life and Resources and Library. So this will get you to our libraries page. Once you get to the library page, of course, there's a ton of information about our library. If you get a chance to go to the library in person, that's fantastic. But for those of you that are online learners, it may be more helpful just to do the online resources. LRC databases over here on the left is going to be what you need to click on for online resources. Notice they have the Alabama Virtual Library. And once you click into it, you just click college and university to access those databases. And of course, there's so many database options. I mean, there's a wealth of information, but it is very topic specific on some of them. So I'm going to show you a couple that are really good for just general information. EBSCOhost, it's EBSCO host, is a really good one for just general information. And notice the search bar is similar to a Google search bar. You can just search your topic here. So I'm going to pretend like I'm writing a paper on William Shakespeare because that is who I would want to write about. So as you can see, there's a ton of sources, but say you want to cite the source. What's so great about these is not only is everything within the database really reliable, but they've got a citation tool for you. So once you click Cite, you can just scroll down to MLA and copy and paste the citation for that works cited entry. So how neat is that? Also, whatever your works cited entry starts with, whatever the last name of the author is, that's what's going to go in that in-text citation, that parentheses at the end of the sentence. So this is just really helpful. So now we're going to go back here. EBSCOhost is a really good one, but Gale Power Search is another really great source. And there's a ton of Gale, so you may have to scroll down a little bit, but Gale Power Search is another one that's similar, where you can search for so many different topics. It doesn't have to be specifically medical or specifically science. And in the same vein, you can click into it and you can email these sources to yourself, download them, print them, whatever you need to do your research. But for Gale Power Search, it's at the bottom. The citation is MLA 9th edition. So you could just copy and paste this for your works cited page. So I highly recommend using both EBSCOhost and Gale Power Search. Another really neat source that they have on the LRC databases page is the Wallace College ebook collection. They have over 150,000 ebooks that you can access. So ebooks are just electronic books, and you can search here for any topic that you're researching. So between those three databases, I have confidence that you'll be able to find information on almost any source. But if you are having trouble finding reliable sources, just let me know. Also, remember, do not use Wikipedia. It's essentially a blog because people can add information that don't know about the topic. Anybody can just add information. So if you're not sure if the source is reliable, feel free to email me and send me a link to the source or describe what the source is, and I'm happy to help you cite it, check its reliability, whatever you need to do. I'm here to help you through it. So if you do have any questions, please let me know, and I'm always an email or phone call away. Thanks.